I'd like to start off this video saying that I don't proclaim to be a horror aficionado. I just got into the genre recently within the past 10 years. And during COVID, I really ramped up my horror watching. Now, I had known about Freddy Krueger, but I hadn't experienced Freddy Krueger. And I had a friend, my best friend Robert, over the years, he's proclaimed to me, trying to get to me, pleading to me to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. Just give it a chance. Try it. And I always thought it was kind of comedical, not worth my time. Oh boy, was I wrong. Now, this is a guy that, Robert, he's had a poster of A Nightmare on Elm Street in his room ever since I've known him. You know, he's a big fan. And he was nice enough after we binged watched the entire collection to give me this DVD set as a token of his appreciation for finally giving myself a chance to experience this wonderful franchise. Now, walking into A Nightmare on Elm Street at his house that dark 2001 night, I didn't expect much. I expected not to enjoy it. I was just ready to get it over with. You know, in back of my mind, I was thinking, this is gonna be a waste of my 90 minutes, which is really a terrible mindset. Don't do that to your friends. Boy, was I wrong. Not only is A Nightmare on Elm Street a classic, it redefines the slasher genre. Up to this point, we've had Jason, we've had Michael Myers. You know, there's not a whole lot of character development in those films. In Freddy's case, Wes Craven pulled from his own personal experience as a child growing up in a Christian environment, Christian home. Very similar to me, very similar to my experience with being told, you know, horror is the devil's work, you know, all that stuff. Wes Craven also, he made it personal. Took the design of Freddy, the name from a guy that creeped him out with a fedora and then having like the sweater. And then coming up with, you know, you can't have a knife or whatnot. Well, why not have a glove with a bunch of knives? The whole idea of people dying from their nightmares and their dreams came from an article in Los Angeles Times that Wes Craven read in the 70s about these refugees coming to America and having this like PTSD from the genocide in Vietnam. Took all these things together, blended them together into the script for A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the rest is history. Not only do we have this crazy villain of Freddy Krueger, we have 4 teenagers that we really root for in Tina, Rod, Glenn, and Nancy. Each one of these kids is given, you know, their due. As far as Tina, she starts off right in the dream. She's the one that's possessed by Freddy right away in her nightmares. We have the white screen and she's in her nightgown running around. We finally get to see Freddy in the alleyway with these long arms proclaiming to her, this is God. Rod experiences this from the outside where Tina is dreaming and she's flailing in the air, going into the ceiling, and this dramatic, graphic, I don't know how they filmed it, type epic kill, which is the first kill in many that we see on screen for Freddy Krueger. But that first kill with Tina, gotta say, it's probably one of the best in the franchise. It sets the tone, this dark, brooding tone for what to expect and what's to come in this film. From the public eye, Rod is to blame. As any good movie protagonist, the kids are usually smarter than the police or the adults. And I think Nightmare on Elm Street does a great job with this throughout, where the kids are always one step ahead of what's going on. Then we cut to Nancy, where she's with Glenn, and we follow those two for most of the rest of the film. And Nancy uncovers a lot of the past of her family's history with Freddy. Man, it's disturbing. It's disturbing stuff. And throughout the film, I was frightened by Freddy's presence and the scare jumps and all that. It's the way that Wes Craven wrote this film and made everybody likable. And then we see them being murdered. It just raises the stakes even more. And then having the screen presence of Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger in this one, where he really provides a lot of like the physicality, the way that not many one-liners in this one, but he's just such a menace, a physical monster. Horror genre aside, horror movie aside, I think there's some classic themes here. Not only good versus evil, but overcoming your fears. There's a moment near the end where Nancy goes back into the dream and confronts Freddy head on and is strong enough to face her fears, and she overcomes it. Although, there's more. A Nightmare on Elm Street does a fantastic job of making us believe that everything was a dream till the end, when everybody's trapped into a car and up comes the roof of this convertible, and we see it's like in the design of a sweater by Freddy Krueger, and we know they're all fucked. I know there's not a whole lot that I can say that is new and exciting about this movie that hasn't been covered by many other YouTubers, but I wanted to give you guys my personal experience with A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I will continue to do so with the rest of the collection here on DVD. I have to say that I also have the Blu-ray collection. There is a nice documentary on the Blu-ray that's not on the DVD that I enjoyed. It's like about an hour and a half behind the scenes. Wes Craven's interviewed, Robert Englund's interviewed. Many of the casts are interviewed here, except Johnny Depp. Nightmare on Elm Street is probably one of my favorite horror movies, not only because of the friendly bond I have with Robert, but it's just a great movie. And if you're new to the horror genre like I was, I would highly recommend you guys check out A Nightmare on Elm Street. Start there. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street. Will we ever get that 4K restoration on UHD? Let me know below in the comments. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And as always, this has been Return of the Disc. I'm Dan.